Good morning. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. We got a little NBA bit coming at you. Hope everybody had a nice weekend. We got a busy week today. We have a lot of basketball to talk about. We've got the NBA bit Monday, Wednesday, Friday. The Emirates Cup starts tomorrow. We got 3 different editions of Live Before Lock this week. We're back on our normal schedule of Monday and Friday, but we got a special one tomorrow night, which means we've got not just one dose of Worldwide WOB, but 2 doses of the WOB. Rob Perez is going to join us on Tuesday and on Friday this week as we get hyped up for the Emirates Cup. So a lot of stuff going on. Also, hey, real quick, if you haven't checked out our first episode of Hoop Sense, that dropped on Friday afternoon. Off to a rip-roaring start over on the Count the Dings YouTube channel. Just dropped a link into the chat. Please go leave that on loop so we just boost those numbers, Yeah, Jump Shoot. We all miss G Dunn. G Dunn was in Brazil recently, actually. São Paulo. All right, yeah. Common Man saying needs some NBA comedy after a frustrating weekend of Mavs ball. That's true. Sneeps is here. Jump Shoot. We mentioned Super Carl. Stubbs in the house. Stubbs is going to be live for every episode as the Cleveland Cavaliers just rip through the NBA. So can't miss an episode. And then also happy veterans. Salute a vet. Do something like that today. Let's dive in though. Let's get into some of the sweet NBA action from the weekend. We've got a bunch of stuff to get into, some good stuff, some bad stuff, some sad stuff, some happy stuff. Let me see if I can switch this format to bang. Let's go. I can't believe we're starting with an MVP check, but and I can't believe, like, if you had told me like that was it possible for Nikola Jokic to win yet another one. Jokic, man, is insane right now. And I know Common Man probably doesn't want to start with this one as it's the Dallas Mavericks, but a wild game on last night. I'm sure a lot of you were tuned into football. Maybe you didn't even see it, but Jokic and Kyrie were just going back and forth at it and just incredible stuff. Nuggets win this game 122-120. They kind of held a lead for most of the game. Fourth quarter was back and forth. Luka finished with 24, 9, and 9. But the story was Kyrie, who had 43, 5, and 5, going 6 for 8 from 3, 17 for 22 from the field. But it was no match for Nikola Jokic. The Denver Nuggets, who myself included, basically was like, listen, this is going to be a 4 to 6 seed. A 4 to 6 seed. That's their ceiling right now. They're just running bad. No Aaron Gordon for some time. They're relying on guys we've never heard of. And Nikola Jokic said, but you've heard of me. 37 points, 18 boards, 15 dimes, 3 steals, 8 for 8 from the line, 3 for 3 from 3. As again, just drags Denver across the finish line. And it wasn't just that. I believe on, was it Friday? Did they play Friday or Saturday? I can't remember. I know they played 2 games over the weekend here. Oh my God, the ESPN website. What is going on with you? I think, did they play Minnesota? No, it wasn't Minnesota. Who did they play on Friday? Friday they played the Miami Heat, excuse me. And in that game, he had 30 points, 11 boards, and 14 dimes as they beat the Miami Heat 135-122. If we look at the standings here with Denver, they've now moved into fourth, 7-3. They've won 5 in a row. So after being 1-3 to start, that's bad math. 2-3 to start the season. They've ripped off 5 straight. Now the games have all been crazy. It's been a lot of close games, right? We see they started the season losing to OKC and the Clippers, both at home. Then they had overtime wins against Toronto and Brooklyn. Lost that close game against the Timberwolves. Then have ripped off one against the Jazz, the Raptors, the Thunder, the Heat, and the Mavericks. Jokic to start the season. To start this season, he is averaging just under 30 points a game, 29.7 points a game, 13.7 rebounds, 11.7 assists. He's shooting 56% from 3 and 56% from the field and 56% from 3. It's weird to say that, like, could Jokic dial up, go up another level considering what he's doing, but shooting 56% from 3 on somewhere between like 2 to 3 threes a game. I mean, he's just incredible. Super Carl said, imagine how good Jokic would be if basketball was his priority. That honestly, I think his greatest achievement Nikola Jokic's greatest achievement is making all of us think he doesn't care about it. He absolutely does care. Nobody has facial hair like that and doesn't care. But Jokic has just been unreal, man, to start this season. And I'll be the first to admit, I did not think Denver was going to be able to rip these off. And I thought they, once Aaron Gordon went down, I was like, yeah, sure, they can bring Peyton Watson in. And Peyton Watson, let's shout him out because he had that incredible block when the win against OKC, where Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was going to tie the game, and Peyton Watson just put his go-go gadget arms up and knocked it down. Did the same thing last night. Kyrie, he played insane defense on Kyrie. Kyrie was hitting him with all of these moves, and then somehow hits this, I believe it was a turnaround, off balance fadeaway jump shot that hits the angle on the backboard, drops in, and you're just watching that and you're like, whoa, there's nothing else Peyton Watson can do. And then I believe it was the very next trip down, Peyton Watson then gets a hand on a Kyrie shot. Listen, this is their only hope is Jokic has to average basically 30, 12, and 12, and they need Peyton Watson to turn into prime Scottie Pippen the way he defends. And Jamal Murray's slowly coming back. I don't feel great about what Jamal Murray's been doing, but at least last night, had this weird sequence where got fouled on this three as the time was expiring on the shot clock. It was not a foul. They challenged it. Somehow it still was called a foul. I don't really understand what happened there. And then goes to the line and only goes 1 for 3 from the free throw line. I think he finished the game with 25 and 5, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. Let me just double check some box score stuff with Denver. Finished with 18 and 6. They got 17 and 7 from our guy Michael Porter Jr., which means, you know what, we can do a Porter Jr. drop. They won the game. They get the drop.
We're the Porters. We share the crowd of up and down performers, throwing things and buzzer beater corners. And one of us is playing for the Warriors. We're juniors and we're the Porters.
Totally agree with Common Man, by the way. I thought that call was so bad. And when they challenged it, I was like, oh, for sure. And what was so funny is Jamal Murray was kind of yelling at the Dallas Mavericks bench when they went to challenge it. He was kind of like, yeah, challenge it. And I was watching the Denver broadcast, and even when they went to challenge it, Denver was like, oh yeah, that's going to get overturned. And then they didn't. It was weird. It should have been just a non-call. But anyways, back to Denver. I mean, 7-3 now, 5-2 at home. Strother gave him 12 off the bench. Again, they're playing this tight 8-man rotation right now. Another DNP for Dario Saric. So they and DeAndre Jordan. So they basically, Jokic is going to have to play 38 to 40 minutes a game. They got 10 out of Zeke Naji, Russ with 20, Strother with 23. I wonder if they do some small ball 5 stuff when they try. I like Peyton Watson playing 40 minutes. That's what he's going to have to do. That is what he's going to have to do. Now the margin for error is going to be so thin for Denver. They can't sustain any more injuries, really. They can't. So, but listen, I just am so, he's won so many MVPs. What is it? 3 of the last 4 seasons. And heading into this year with Denver, it's freaking November 11th, right? So it's not like we're really giving out an MVP right now, but I just thought there was no way he'd even have a shot because it just narratively speaking, nobody's going to give it to him again. Especially after they kind of flamed out. Sometimes you get penalized for last year's postseason experience or run, and which you shouldn't, but that's just what happens sometimes. And yet here we are, 10 games in, and Jokic is 55% from 3. It's nuts. It's nuts. And I'll be the first one to raise my hand and just say I suck for my Denver take. I thought, there's still a long way to go. And I guess this is where I thought they would be 4-6 in the West. But when Aaron Gordon went down, it was crazy. Stan says injuries considered, who beats Denver in the playoffs. I mean, listen, I still like this series right now. Dallas, who was, Denver without Aaron Gordon. Dallas was without all of their big men. We should point that out, right? There's still no Derek Lively in this game, no PJ Washington, and no Maxi Kleber. So I think that's pretty tough. All right, I wouldn't go that far. Luka kind of had a weird game last night. I think there's more to do with that than anything else. You wasted a 43-point performance from Kyrie. But to Stan's credit, and maybe this is a chance to go look at the West standings and we can cover some of the other games. We're looking at the Phoenix Suns, who we'll talk about here in a second. They are 8-2 after dropping an overtime game to the Sacramento Kings, where, for those that didn't pay attention to that game, DeMar DeRozan was not really doing anything. And then I think he scored 22 points in the fourth quarter in overtime. Really impressive performance by the Light the Beam Bros. You've got OKC, who are 8-2, and again, we'll talk about them in a second. The Golden State Warriors, you want to do a little MVP check? Steph Curry, yes, the Golden State Warriors lost by 4,000 points to the Cleveland Cavaliers over the weekend. Just got smoked, right? Just got absolutely smoked, but then turn around, come back, and win this game against OKC last night. And Steph now, who's only played 6 games, averaging 19, 6, and 5 so far this season, but another impressive performance from him where it was like a 35-point game. Golden State, man, just like keeps winning games here at 8-2. You've got Memphis Grizzlies, who are somehow – the Grizzlies are somehow 7-4, where Ja Morant's going to be missing some time. It sounds like he's week to week with an injury. And again, we'll talk – I'm trying not to go to Dr. Zakarian yet. But back to Stan's point, I mean, I still think OKC is there. I think that would be a really fun series. I know Dallas is 500 through these 10 games. I still think Dallas is going to be a real formidable opponent when they get into the postseason. I'm not really worried about where they land in the standings. And again, they've just been so thinned out roster-wise. But that's, I mean, listen, yeah, it's anybody's West. It's anybody's West right now. And let's actually, instead of just staying with MVP check, because I just wanted to talk about Nikola Jokic's performance, let's go to Dr. Zakarian, and I'm going to give you a Keith Smith tweet, okay? So Keith Smith, NBA. Actually, I'll share a screen for it, and we can do this. Keith Smith, NBA. I believe he writes for Spotrac. Here we go. Let me zoom in a little bit. 6 of last season's All-Stars are out with long-term injuries. We got Paolo Banchero, who I think has still got like another month out. Scotty Barnes, who hopefully is back in like 2 weeks. Kevin Durant, who we're going to talk about with the Phoenix Suns, he's just been ruled out for a couple weeks. We've got Joel Embiid, who's finally making his first appearance of the season tomorrow. Kawhi Leonard still has yet to play basketball. Tyrese Maxey's going to miss a month. We had Jaylen Brown, who just returned. Paul George has missed some time. AD left last night's game with an eye injury. He's getting that looked at today. And then Luka has been playing through injuries. And then that doesn't even count. We've got Lonzo Ball is missing time again. Both of the Bogdanoviches are missing time. Aaron Gordon, we mentioned. Isaiah Hartenstein's probably not back till after Thanksgiving. Anybody that's on the New Orleans Pelicans is missing time, right? Jordan Hawkins, CJ McCollum, Trey Murphy, who's supposed to return tonight. Zion Williamson, who we're going to talk about. He's going to be Zion sounds like he's going to be out for a while. Chris Middleton still hasn't played. Chet Holmgren last night in that OKC Golden State game makes an incredible defensive effort against Andrew Wiggins, who somehow Wiggins made this layup. Chet fell directly on his penis. He has a broken pelvis. He's going to be out 8 to 10 weeks. You've got Ja Morant, we just mentioned, DeJounte Murray, Kristaps Porzingis, Jeremy. So, like, the injury stuff has been out of control. Out of control. And I think, like, looking at it right now, man, like OKC is going to be in a little bit of trouble. And I know, listen, they're 8-2, and as long as they're healthy, once they get to springtime, it's going to be fine. But Jalen Williams, not J-Dub, but J-Will, the big one, he's missing time, and he just had a setback in his recovery. So they're without J-Will, who was like their third big. They're without Hartenstein for another 3 to 4 weeks. They're without Chet Holmgren for 8 to 10 weeks. And all of the issues that OKC addressed this offseason with trying to get some depth and some more big boys to go against the Jokic's, the Embiids, the Giannis's, the Anthony Davises of the world, they're now down to Ousmane Dieng. That's basically who they have on their roster right now to play big for them. And I like Ousmane Dieng in a way that, like, hey, let's get this guy 8 to 10 minutes in a blowout. But they might be in trouble right now. And again, SGA's talented enough. They still, like, regular season wise, I think they're still fine. Jalen Williams, Alex Caruso, Isaiah Joe's been playing well. Aaron Wiggins has been giving them really good minutes. But anytime they go against a big, I mean, are they going to turn into the Charlotte Hornets right now, where we just attack bigs against OKC? And then, yeah, let's talk about New Orleans here for a second, who New Orleans might start, like, saying, let's bring Cooper Flagg to the Bayou, because New Orleans Pelicans, will go back over here. They are 3-7 right now. They are 3-7. They are without Zion, which again, the Zion injury, they didn't really give us they didn't really give us like a timetable for it. They just said it's gonna in the words of Stained, it's gonna be a while. Right there, no Zion, no CJ McCollum, no DeJounte Murray, no Jordan Hawkins. And Jordan Hawkins was like the 9th guy on the team. And now we're like, oh, shit, the Pelicans are without Jordan Hawkins? That's how bad it's been going for them. Now they get Trey Murphy back tonight, but we're saying names like Brandon Boston Jr., Jose Alvarado, Yves Missy, Daniel Tice. Like those are the guys that New Orleans is relying on. And you can't, if New Orleans was in the East, it'd probably be fine. But they're in the West, and they're already 3 games out of the play, or 2 games out of the play-in, I guess, right? And I just don't see a path forward. I don't see a path forward. Oh, Joker Rock, new member. Let's go, Joker Rock. The VIPs in the house. Man, it is tough. Tough sledding here for the Pels, and I don't really see a path forward. I don't see a path forward for them. So we'll have to see. And then Memphis Grizzlies, let's talk about them for a second. So Ja Morant had like a weird injury. It sounds like it's going to be a couple of weeks. But man, the Grizzlies have just been beating the hell out of everyone. So last night they played the Portland Trailblazers and were up 400 in the first half. They got a Scottie Pippen Jr. triple-double a couple nights ago. And I do want to, and so Memphis at 7-4. I really like what they're doing, and if they can somehow keep their guys healthy. But just kind of like last year, we're finding out that through these injuries, they have more guys. They've got Jay Huff, who I think had 5 blocks last game. They've got Jalen Wells. They found him. He's been performing well. We know the Scottie Pippen Jr. stuff. So there's a lot of good stuff happening for Memphis, even though they've been without Desmond Bane, who has an oblique injury, Marcus Smart, who's missed the last couple games, although it sounds like Marcus Smart's almost back, and then the aforementioned Ja Morant. So, and now we got to talk about the number 1 seed Phoenix Suns, who lost that overtime game against the the Bean Bros last night. Kevin Durant now is missing some time. So now, and we had mentioned this a couple weeks ago, where Kevin Durant was logging like 38 to 40 minutes a game and was playing awesome. Like, I think if Kevin Durant didn't get hurt when we did that MVP check thing, we were going to have to talk about KD. Because as we mentioned last week, he's was behind LaMelo and Cam Thomas, I think, in fourth quarter scoring to start this season, as Phoenix just kept winning all of these nail biters. And then you could see last night with no Kevin Durant became a little bit of a problem, especially with Booker's shooting percentage this season is down pretty bad. Although I wouldn't look too much into it. I think just start the season a little weird. Regulator said the Huff TSD might be the best new TSD on Top Shot. There you go. The rookie of the year right there. Coffee break right there. But yeah, so the injury bugs are just brutal right now. So we talked about KD, we talked about Chet, we talked about Zion. I thought there was one more too that I missed, but I think we got the bulk of it. Let's go over to the East. Let's go over to the East, shall we? We'll spend some more time over here because I want to check the Eastern standings and just look at this with me. The Cleveland Cavaliers 11-0. They look awesome. The Boston Celtics 9-2. They look awesome. And then after that, there's only one other team above or at 500 or above. That is the Indiana Pacers, who beat the New York Knicks last night. And we finally got the return of Tyrese Halliburton, who has been missing in action for most of this season, being afraid to shoot. But the defense of the New York Knicks is like an oasis in the desert. They just give life. They give life. They give hope. Pacers drop 132, scoring 40 points in the fourth quarter. Halliburton going 11 for 18 from the field, 4 for 10 from 3, finishes the game with 35 points and 14 dimes. That was like last fall's Tyrese Halliburton. Now, Benedict Mathurin, who, again, Mathurin, man, 13 for 18. He's now in the starting lineup. Now, part of that was because Nembhard missed that game, but honestly, he's been playing so good, they need to have him in there. 38 points and 8 boards for Benny Mathurin. And on the season, he's just been cooking, right? So through 9 games, he's averaging 17 and 6, but the last couple of games have just been putting up ceiling-style performances. Miles Turner gave him 26 as well. But, dude, like the backcourt dropping over 73 points on the New York Knicks. Like, what the fuck is going on, Tom Thibodeau, huh? What is going on? But Hallie returns with that game, Mathurin as well. The Knicks, like at least Brunson finally had a game because I feel like he has been in a similar boat as Halliburton, but nobody's talking about it because people like to make fun of Halliburton more than the guy who does this. But Jalen Brunson had 33 points and 10 in that one, getting 10 points from the line. Cat, another offensive performance, 30 and 9. They got 25 from OG. Like you told me OG and Anunoby got 25 points. I assume your team won. 132 points in regulation is OD. I can't believe that. But so you get the Knicks that are under 500 right now at 4-5. Now let's go to the Celtics Bucks. And this game was a wild one. Celtics won at 113-107. The Celtics gave up 69 points in the first quarter. I don't know what Joe Mazzulla did to them at halftime. My only guess was they all did a line of coke because they came out and played wild-ass defense, only 15 points in the third quarter, 23 points in the fourth. And you math nerds out there, that's 38 points in the total of the second half. They win at 113-107, but just some weird stuff. Some weird stuff in this game. Giannis out of nowhere does what? What's going on? What is going on with Giannis? Does he not have enough people in? Like, does he need some friends in his inner circle that'll make fun of him a little bit? You know, just like keep him honest, or is like the loss of Thanasis on the bench like really affecting him? Because that was one. Not only I don't understand it, right? So he unless Giannis and Jaylen Brown are like really good friends, and I didn't know this, but Jaylen Brown doesn't strike me as someone that has a lot of really close friends on other teams. But so for those that didn't see it, Giannis kind of gave Jaylen Brown a little bit of an elbow, and I don't think it was like I'm trying to hurt you. It was more of an inadvertent elbow, right? And then like a play later, he goes to like dap up Jaylen Brown. Dap him up, right? Just to be like, hey, man, my bad. And then Jaylen Brown goes, do it. And then he does this. Like, I just, we gave Tatum some tough times some tough love last season, being like, I think more people would like Tatum as a superstar if people thought he was cool. And I made fun of his Subway commercial, right? We're going to start redirecting that. We can't, Dad Giannis, you can't be doing this. You can't be doing, hey, what's up, man? Oh, like what? Come on. What is that? But anyways, they outscored him. I forget what the official number was, but outscored him by like 18 points after that happened. There was also a brutal closeout by Giannis too. So he gives this inadvertent elbow, and then Tatum gets a 3-point shot in the corner, and closes out a little bit late. And he puts his foot on. His foot gets under Tatum's landing spot. Now, I hate a lot of those foul calls. I would say like 80% of those times that's called a foul. It's kind of like, really, man? Like he was kind of jumping forward. Did he really get in his landing spot? This was that foul that they missed was the reason they instituted that rule. It was like the Kawhi one, right? Where Kawhi landed on Zaza Pachulia, gone, and then he didn't play anymore. That same thing. And Tatum rolled his ankle, seemed to be okay. Comes back, plays 40 minutes in that game. But the fact that they didn't call that foul at all was crazy. But Tatum finishes this game with 31 and 12. Drew Holiday did some big boy stuff down the stretch. The Celtics were just attacking. Like, I know it doesn't look crazy because you got 14 from Jaylen Brown, 15 from White, 15 from Holiday, and then the 31 from Tatum. They were attacking Damian Lillard every single time down. They were just getting switches on him. All of a sudden, Dame would be on Tatum. They'd find Giannis would go help. They'd find Derek White for a wide open angled three. Like, they just, Milwaukee should feel a little bit better about this. And again, if you just looked at this game and you're like, whatever, dude, they lost to the Celtics 113-107. They had them for a minute, right? And they didn't finish the job, but they lost a close game. Sure. But they are now 2-8. They are now 2-8. So to go back to the Eastern Conference, you look at this, man. Pistons are 4-7, Hornets are 4-7. You get the Bulls 4-6, the Heat 4-5, Nets 4-6. Hawks have 4 wins, that 7 losses. Then you get the Wizards, the Sixers, the Bucks, and the Raptors, all with 2 wins. And so if you're Milwaukee and Philly, you're looking at this and you're like, well, okay, we're at least not like dead in the water, because if we win 3 games in a row, we're like the 3 seed. So like all of the panic that was setting in for Milwaukee and for Philly, it's probably okay. I think you're still concerned long-term. And you know what? Embiid might come touch the floor tomorrow, and then all of a sudden, none of this matters, right? He comes back, dominates, and then we're like, you know what? Yeah, we overreacted. Sixers are going to be fine. Stan said, did the Heat dodge a bullet? Hero is half of Dime salary. Just saying. Let's get a Hero drop who has been playing some pretty good basketball of late. I will say, though, you know how I know things are bad in Miami? Because like this, we're still like celebrating, even though they're 4-5. So they're 4-5, but we're like, but Tyler Hero. But Hero has been playing good. He had 26 and 6, I think, in last night's win. It might have been 26-9 in last night's win over Minnesota. My biggest frustration with Miami right now is where is Bam Adebayo? Where is Bam Adebayo? I'm looking for you, Bam Bam. No offensive production from him whatsoever. But anyways, Miami gets a win over Minnesota. Minnesota now, I know there were some questions about Minnesota in the chat. They are now, what are they now? 6-4 in the West. The West is all pretty bundled, though. Let me catch up on the chat, too. I missed some stuff. Tesla, to go back to the Knicks, says, Knicks are saying, are you noticing any, man, I almost Michelle Beadled right there, didn't I? Are you noticing anything in particular about the Knicks defense? Is it the lack of paint presence? Those wings are all elite defensively, no? So that's a great question because, right, you look at, first of all, Coach Thibodeau, a good defensive coach, and then you add Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart, and OG Anunoby, all strong defensive perimeter / wing guys. Honestly, I think they're feeling the loss of Isaiah Hartenstein quite a bit. And when you think of like Minnesota Timberwolves defense, and you're like, well, they had Cat was on one of the best defensive teams in the regular season last season. I think, like, listen, we don't like to give Rudy Gobert credit, but Rudy Gobert covers up a lot of the stuff that Cat doesn't do well, right? And so that's why it kind of worked for them. And so offensively, yeah, Cat's averaging like 30 points a game the last couple of games, and he does spread the court quite a bit for him on the offensive side of things. But defensively, you have Jalen Brunson, who is not a strong defender. So if you have multiple guys that can get you at the point of attack, plus you don't have a solid interior defense, I mean, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And I mean, the depth of the Knicks too is something like they're just so screwed. You can't. Jericho Sims has been atrocious. They should be getting Precious Achiuwa back relatively soon. But the fact that we're like, oh man, once they get Precious Achiuwa back, that's where some of the concern is. And no disrespect to Precious Achiuwa, who will be coming on the Hoop Sense show soon, I think. So no disrespect to Precious. We love you, Precious. But the fact that that's what the Knicks are relying on is a little concerning there. Yeah, Cat is the dame of bigs. There you go. There was something else that I wanted to get there. Was Drew Holiday trade a clear L for the Bucks? Yeah, I mean, I think it was a panic move, right? I mean, no disrespect to Heat culture, but I think when they lost that 1-8 matchup against Miami, they just hit the eject button instead of just being like, hey, we played poorly. Giannis was hurt. Maybe we just make some minor tweaks and bring it back. I mean, you were the 1 seed for a reason in the East. Make some minor tweaks and come back. And instead, they hit the panic button. They did a massive trade. And now they're, Dame has had some pretty good offensive nights, but like just anybody can attack them. You can just smoke them on the defensive side every single time. I mean, guards have been cooking every single time. Regulator said GM Giannis caused, Giannis caused the Drew trade, right? I would imagine, like, I don't think anybody said that publicly, but I can't imagine they made that move without checking with them. But as a Celtics fan, hell yeah, brother. I love it. Damn, Precious first player guest already, so smash the like. Yeah, we've got some really good guests lining up. We're not going to have the second episode out until next week, though. I think we're just as we're getting into the rhythm of stuff and getting stage time. The stage time, Jesus, there's my my freaking comedy brain. Getting podcast studio time. Speaking of which, I'm going to go share the link in there. Make sure you've checked that out. Also, would love feedback too if you guys liked it. I think. Well, it took a little bit to get into the rhythm of it, but second half felt good. That episode was fun. So excited to get back in the studio for that one. Anything else from this weekend that you guys want to get into? There was a really funny call last night. So I don't know if anybody watched any of the Sixers Hornets game. I hope you didn't. Honestly, I hope you have like a loving family and you had like a Sunday dinner, or, you went and saw a movie, instead of being like, let me grind some tape of the Charlotte Hornets and the 76ers. Hornets are down 3 with 9 seconds left. There's an inbound play. LaMelo catches it in the corner, and it's basically a catch, turnaround, fadeaway three-pointer that just nothing but net. And on the call, the Charlotte Hornets said, of course he screams. And then he goes, LaMelo Ball with the guts of a cat burglar. And I don't think I've ever heard that. The guts of a cat burglar. I had to think about it like 3 or 4 times, but sticks a big 3. And then they get the overtime call. Also, I will say Brandon Miller, another good performance from Brandon Miller. But my biggest takeaway from this 76ers game is Nick Nurse is done with the Andre Drummond experiment. Yabusele stole. So Drummond gets the start. Has a couple of dumb fouls / offensive turnovers in the first half. Second half, Yabusele, bonjour Yabu. He comes in, gets the start, and then he had a great game. I think he finished with like 18 points or something like that. They went back. I'll actually pull up the stat line. They went back to Drummond in overtime for like 2 possessions, and then Nick Nurse was like, nah, fuck this. Yabusele plays 31 minutes to Drummond's 24. Goes for 20 points and 8 boards. Was a plus 12 while Drummond was a minus 10. So we might be done. We might be done with Drum Dog Millionaire. I can't figure out why he's so bad. He said, how is Drummond so bad for them? I can't understand it. I can't either. I mean, he's been rough, man. Drummond's been rough, and the only reason I'm talking about this is because, they played Charlotte last night, and I was like, oh, Biggs abused Charlotte. Let's get after it. But, oh, man, rough stuff for Drum Dog Millionaire. Terrence says, I think Kevin Porter Jr. is turning the corner. What do you think? You know what? I honestly haven't been paying attention too much to Kevin Porter Jr., but let me pull up some stat news here on my end. Let's see. How about Kevin Porter Jr.'s last 5 games? Let's see what he's done here. Stat news, last 5 games. He's been averaging 8 points, 4 boards, and 8 points, 4 boards, and 4 dimes in the last 5. Yeah, it looks like he's been playing a little bit better. You know what's so funny? Every time I tune in to Kevin Porter Jr., I just see him doing something dumb. Just something dumb. Oh, that's huge news. Asar Thompson cleared for basketball. That's actually really good. That's really good news. Let's do a little bit of Detroit here. Let's get you a drop. Let's get a Detroit basketball drop.
Detroit basketball. Detroit basketball.
So we get Asar Thompson back. Also, I think Cade Cunningham has a 3-game triple-double streak going right now. Although, no, he had one going. He, on Friday, dropped a triple-double. So what did he do last night? Last night against Houston, he had finished the game with 26, 9, and 8. So he's been on fire. Cade has been a fantasy god. This game was pretty nuts. Jalen Green had an insane dunk on Cade. Just really dunked right on him, and then was like just screamed in his face. Pretty disrespectful, honestly. But yeah, glad Asar Thompson's back. Cade's been cooking. Good win for Houston here, who's just, again, let's just look at some Houston minutes. They played 9 guys. So Reed Shepard got 11. Did anybody miss a game? No. All right. So Tari Eason, by the way, Tari Eason is very close. Let's call this right now. Maybe full screen. In the next 3 weeks, Tari Eason is going to start over Jabari Smith Jr. Unless they don't do it for pride. But that's going to be the hot take. Tari Eason's just been straight out outplaying Jabari Smith Jr. I know that small sample size, but like Jabari, he's been having let's see, what is Jabari Smith Jr.'s let's go to Basketball Reference. Sorry. But Tari Eason, every time we look off the bench, he's absolutely just monstering out there. Jabari this season through 9 games is averaging 11 and 6. 11 and 6 as a starter, playing like bigger minutes. And then we've got 11 and 5 for Tari Eason in less minutes. He's outplaying him right now. I think it's a little scary for the Jabari Smith Jr. bags, but good news for Houston in general. Amin Thompson too. So this seems to be their rotation. Tari Eason and Amin Thompson playing playing most of their minutes off the bench here, so that's good. Why is Boston Base DMing me right now? I'm not. I don't know. I don't know why you're doing that. It's not a small sample. They both came in as rookies, and most starts Tari gets. He outperforms Jabari. Yeah, he's been really good. He's been really good. All right, let's take a look. I don't know. Any other takes from this weekend that you guys wanted to get into before we get into the Emirates Cup here? Because it's Cup action tonight. It is Cup action tonight, baby. Let's go look at the schedule. Let's actually switch our background here for the time. Well, first what I'll do is be like, here you go. Look, we're talking about the Emirates Cup now. Very good. But we're going to go like this so we can share screen to get like a bigger picture here from the ESPN. So this is what we've got for the first group games here for the Emirates Cup, and then we can look at the Emirates Cup groups as well. God, this website. So tomorrow night, we've got Atlanta against Boston, Miami against Detroit, Charlotte against Orlando. What the fuck is going on? We got New York against Philly, Toronto and Milwaukee, Utah and Phoenix, Dallas and Golden State, Minnesota and Portland. So there you go. That is we've got the first round of the Emirates Cup. I'm going to pull up the groups here right now so that we can take a look. The Celtics are in a pretty gross group again, although Cleveland is in it, so it does get a little tricky for Cleveland. Oh my God, I didn't realize we were still sharing it like this. This is hilarious. Sorry, guys. My bad. Hold on. There we go. Hold on. Yeah, didn't I say tomorrow? Sorry, I was saying tomorrow night. Sorry, guys. I thought I was saying tomorrow night. Yeah, I was saying Tuesday. We're looking at the Tuesday schedule. Everybody should know it. That's not too terrible for Jabari. I think he bounces back. I've always been high on him. Yeah, I know, but I think Jabari Smith Jr. has had like a 3-week run last season where we were getting a lot of like 14 and 10s from him. But man, it's been tough. Let's go. Let's go look at the groups. And then we can actually talk about Toronto a little bit since they play Milwaukee in the first one. Sorry, guys. I thought I was saying that was last night. Oh, I hate that they're showing us through the freaking thing. Can I just see the cups, the groups without you showing me the freaking courts? All right. So we've got Group A. Where's the Raptors? Because they're playing Milwaukee. So we got Milwaukee, Pacers, Heat, Raptors, and Pistons. And Tesla was saying, oh, good. We sign up for your NBA ID. Thank you. Tesla was saying Raps are having a tough time introducing Emmanuel quickly. RJ's also had a couple of off nights. Yeah, IQ, I feel like he's just not there yet. I think they're easing him back in. Like, I think he only played like 28 minutes in that first one. Didn't look great last night. And then, yeah, RJ's kind of slowed down after that rip-roaring start. But it's to be expected. I will say Grady Dick's been awesome for them. Grady Dick's been really good for Toronto. But they just need everybody healthy. I think a couple more weeks without Scotty, right? But let's look at some of these groups here. We've got the Knicks, Magic, Sixers, Hornets, and Nets. We mentioned that Group C, right? Celtics and Cavs, and then it's Bulls, Hawks, and Wizards. This looked like to be the group of death, right? But now you get the Grizzlies all banged up. The Pelicans are basically a tanking team right now. And then you get the Nuggets, the Mavs, and the Warriors. Group B, you got OKC, Suns, Lakers, Jazz, and Spurs. And then we've got T-Wolves, Clip City bitches. We've got the Kings, the Rockets, and the Blazers. So I bring all of this up, too, because, SORARE is doing that Emirates Cup daily style tournament. I don't think it's like available yet here. I'm going to pop over to SORARE for a second. But made some grabs over the weekend here to be ready for it. Also, I will say we finished 23rd in the rare contender here with Kita dropping 26, Goga with 40, and then you had that Brunson, Turner, and Jalen Johnson are all okay. But 23rd overall. But we go look, I picked up some cards over the weekend here. So we got a Giannis with the KD injury. We got some Booker, some Beal. We got some De'Aaron Fox. We got some Cade Cunningham, Jalen Johnson, Miles Turner, Brunson, Goga, Kita. That's our rare contingency heading into the Emirates Cup. I still don't think we can see it, right? I wish we could see it already, but I don't think they're going to show it because it's the daily thing. But excited for that. Going to be going after it. Fox was actually a trade. DJP Fox was a trade. Somebody wanted a bunch of limited cards, and I honestly haven't been paying attention to limited at all. So I was like, yeah, we'll do limited for a De'Aaron Fox rare. Who is favored in the East? If we go back to the group there, let me actually switch back to Switch back to the branding. Here, the branding. If we go back to the East, we can go to Group A, you were saying, in the East, who's favored, right? So you have the Knicks, the Magic, the Sixers, the Nets, and the Hornets. It has to be, although Embiid is back, but it's got to be the Knicks got to be the favorites to come out of it. Just, man, decimated by injuries. I'm trying to remember a time, and I know we already did the Dr. Zakarian segment, trying to remember a time that the East had been, that the NBA had been just so rattled by injuries, just so many of them. Just like team, like everybody's missing a guy. Raptors just crushed there by Scotty Barnes. I mean, just in that division alone, Maxi's going to miss most of the playing group. Paolo's going to be out for it. God, it sucks. It sucks. I am excited for the Cup games, though. I'm excited to get into that. All right, we can look at tonight's schedule, too. We have a handful of games tonight. We'll go do a pick 'em, and then we'll get out of here. Why is it not showing me Monday games? What is going on? This just a shitty website. They're all bad. It's just showing me. I know. Oh, I see what's happening. Here. So tonight we've got. Oh my God, I'm seriously tilting already this morning. All right, Cavs and the Bulls. So it's a smaller slate tonight because everybody's getting ready for Cup action. So just a handful of games tonight. We got Cavs and Bulls, Wizards and Rockets, Nets and Pelicans, Clips against OKC, Kings against the Spurs. So literally, unless you just gamble, there's no reason to check out any of the action tonight. Let's do some underdog. Let's go figure out a pick 'em here. Man, honestly, I had a pretty good weekend on won some money on Friday, won some money on Saturday, and then Sunday, guys. Sunday, an absolute bloodbath in both the NFL and the NBA here. It was just rough stuff. We do have the one thing we do have live right now is a pick'em. We do have one pick'em live where we had 17 rushing attempts for Najee, needed 15.5. We had Tyrone Tracy with a bunch of first downs, Kelsey with a bunch of first downs. So now we need Tyreek and Cooper to hit that 1K, which will be nice. But if we do a pick'em for some NBA action for tonight, let's see, what's the chat saying? Is the chat spicing up anything? Yeah, I saw some stuff about Zubac earlier. Yeah, where were you? Boston Base? Zubac. Let's look at Zoo. Big Z tonight. As we said, they're playing OKC. OKC with no Chet Holmgren, no big. Rebounds at 12.5. So let's see. What if we spice this up a little bit? What if we make this 34.5? 34.5 from him. So his line is at 30.5 points, rebounds, and assists. What if we make it 34.5? Boost it up a little bit. Let's try to take advantage of the lack of depth down low. Zubac coming off a couple of mid performances. So maybe we boost that up. Or he said he's getting 16 rebounds. What's the 16 rebound boost? 15.5 is one. You know what? Fuck it. Let's do that. 1.72 to get 16 boards. I'm with you, Super Carl. Let's do it. The other guy I wanted to check out here was Jonas Valanciunas, who let's see. Hold on. Let's just go game by game first. But I was kind of interested in Jonas here. Also, dude, Wemby should have a game tonight. Wemby's been pretty disappointing lately. But I do. Does he have an assist line? 3.5 assists. I kind of like this a little bit. I feel like we're due for a pretty big Wemby game. I think his numbers have come down a little bit. People are a little scared because he hasn't been as dominant offensively. He's had 2 good games, then a bad game. But let's see. I kind of like 3.5 assists. We get a little bit of a boost for it. So let's mess around with that. 1.12. That now puts us at a 5.77x, which I like. I like that. How about Mitchell over 4.5 assists too? Let's see what that Mitchell line looks like. We got rugged with that one there. That's also 1.07. So that's what I like. Do you guys like anything here? Wemby's a 45 cap on SORARE. Could be the lowest you ever see him. Yeah. I mean, yeah, he always projects well. Rather do a Sabonis triple-double than what? You mean than Wemby? No, I like the Wemby assist. We're gonna roll with the Wemby assist. I mean, that's the beauty of this is we have to do more than one. So let's see. Does he have a triple-double line? 3x for a triple-double? Let's do it. That's sick. All right, this is 61x. 3.5 assists, 4. Dude, this is okay. 20 to win 1,200. Dude, this is sick. Sabonis triple-double 3x. Mitchell over 4.5 dimes. Wemby over 3.5 dimes. Zubac over 15.5 boards. This is freaking spicy. This is spicy. Man, I love this. Good call, T. Charles, even if it doesn't work. That's fun. That's fun. Let's share that in there. Let's share that in there. I like that. I like that quite a bit. That was fun. That was fun. Hell yeah. Good shit. Guys, I think we're going to call it there. We got a busy day today. If you are a member over on the Elite channel, I think right around noon, we're going to go live for today's daily ranks. So we're going to do some Underdog Daily and hopefully have some more info for the SORARE Daily Cup. And then tonight we have Live Before Lock at 5 o'clock. Just a reminder, too. So we do the NBA bit Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but we have an extra Live Before Lock this week because of the daily contest. So we're going to be live on Monday, Tuesday at 5, and then also Friday at 5. Rob Perez, Worldwide Wob, is going to join us on Tuesday and Friday, which is dope. So go check in for all that stuff. Also, just one more reminder, go watch our Hoop Sense episode over on Count the Dings. Go do that now or after No Dunks, whatever you want to do. But good to be back. Hope you guys have a great start to the week. Lots of content. Lots of content coming at you. And let's make that 60X, huh? 60X. That's sick as hell. Let's get out of here.